Hello, so this is your reading for requested reading for Maria. So let me see. Okay. Okay, so let me start with the first question. Was the family home life that Maria grew up in as chaotic as she has portrayed? What were her dad, Alfred, and her mom Patricia like? Oops. Okay, so what were her parents like? Uh so what I'm getting here, she was very much pampered. She was very much pampered. Was it as chaotic as she portrayed? Definitely not. She just did that for views, and yeah, she just did that for views. But she was pampered. She was pampered. So kind of like this. Yeah, very much pampered. Treated like like the princess, even above her siblings. So she was treated a bit like Meghan Markle amongst her siblings, like the cherished one, the one out of the circle, out of the fire. Yeah. Um. Okay, so yeah, it wasn't as chaotic as she portrayed. To her, it wasn't like in her life, it wasn't as chaotic, but in the lives of her siblings, it was. So it's basically like she appropriated their stories to herself to make it seem like her own. Yeah. So it's not that the life wasn't chaotic, but for her, it wasn't because her parents pretty much like pampered her compared to her siblings. Okay, so next question. Okay, what were her dad, Alfred, and her mom, Patricia, like? They pampered her. Like, that's the essence of their personality when it comes to Maria. Now, if you're asking about the other people, like siblings with her, with the family, I don't see the pampering at all. If anything, it's like they change their personalities to tyrants, right? So like this card here can have a dual meaning. This card here can signify angels, like angelic behavior, pampering, petting the person, which is what they were like with Maria. But then when this same image, right, when it comes to the other siblings, the rest of the siblings, this image can turn to like angels, like angelic beings with like wings and fiery energy, right? Kind of like that, like statues. So similar to that. So they carried the dual energy when it came to the children. So they didn't really have much of a personality to speak of. They pretty much followed the Maria is always right. Yeah. And I mean, this is strange for me to read because I wouldn't think so. So I'm going to ask why. I'm going to ask the cards why. Because what I'm saying is like, it started from when she was very young, and I'm thinking to myself, surely they couldn't have known that she would become popular, famous, rich. So why were they driven to coddle her compared to the other siblings? So what I'm getting here, like, okay, like a book. Maria's parents are into the esoteric, so it's like they knew who they would push to make famous. Yeah, so it's not really that they saw her star. It's more they knew that they would create this star, this burning, like this book. Yeah, that is now her. And they did. Okay. Next question. Maria has talked about her father being very strict and emotionally distant while she was growing up. Why was her father so strict and emotionally distant? He wasn't. Not from what I'm seeing anyway. Um I don't see him being emotionally distant to her. Maybe to the other siblings, most definitely, but not to her. And for the reason I explained, they wanted to make her the star. Like they wanted to use her I'll leave this card here. The star, like, so it could have been music, it could have been something else, maybe like playing the instrument. They were bound to make her a star. So uh no, they were not emotionally distant to her. But to the other siblings, because they had no need of them. Yeah, they had no need of them. So Maria has appropriated a lot of what her siblings have gone through for herself. Okay, next question. Maria's older sister Alison is said to have fallen into drug addiction and prostitution. I mean, yeah, there we go. From a very young age. Yeah, that's because of neglect from her parents. Okay, Maria has said that while she was growing up, her sister Alison drugged her, offered her cocaine, and inflicted burns on her. Alison grew up to be a highly unstable adult who became HIV positive. Okay, Maria and Okay, why was Alison so abusive towards Maria? What caused Alison to become so lost and destructive in her life? Neglect. Again, the dual energy, like black and white. The parents, like if you were to ask the parents, they would even revise history and say they never neglected anyone. They were the model perfect parents, but they were not. Like the neglect is really the contrast is a lot. The contrast is a lot. So due to neglect, and this girl, Patricia, Allison has a more sensitive spirit, like angelic spirit than Maria. In fact, what I'm sensing is Maria appropriating Allison's spirit. Like the angel, I didn't want to say angelic first of all because the card just sort of like said angelic, right? But I didn't want to say that first because I just thought like, okay, why angelic? Why not a soft spirit? Because again, I sense she has a softer spirit than Maria, but like the word kept sticking angelic. So as I picked that up, I'm not realizing Maria probably she appropriated Allison's spirit the most out of all the siblings. Like that angel, the butterfly with the wings that Maria loves to carry, like necklaces, earrings, She even has a song, Angels Cry, right? Like that angel theme, the angelic theme that Maria appropriated is to do with Allison. So it's basically like her um sucking on, like a succubus, sucking on Allison's spirit, which the parents allowed, of course. Why was Allison so abusive towards Maria? Partly because of the neglect that the parents were sort of on Allison, but also the fact that Allison could sense Maria and the parents and then the other siblings. I mean, like I said, she really has the spirit of a baby. So it's like all the siblings jumping on her and sucking up her energy. Yeah. So what I'm sensing is her going crazy is because of that she could sense. But because she's highly sensitive, she can only express herself through music. But then she's the type that because Maria is into music, she would not like to be, or she'll try her best not to be into the kind of music that Maria is. So she would maybe go into like rock, punk rock, right? The total opposite of what the genre that Maria is in, just to create that difference, even though her genre is actually her type of music that would soothe her soul and put her on the right track is actually Maria's type of music. Like she would go into that type of music, create her music. Like she has an abundance of talent, or she had an abundance of talent that's been sucked by not just Maria, but the parents as well. Yeah. And other siblings. Yeah. I mean, in saying that Maria sucked her energy, the other siblings actually did worse. They sucked a lot more, a whole lot more. So like parasites, like succubi. So the abuse towards Maria, it was a reaction to what was going on in the spirit of Allison. Yeah. You know, the abuse is like, or the sucking out, it's like what Maria was doing with Allison. It's like you know, there are some people or some siblings who know what will antagonize you. Like they've grown up with you for like 20 plus years. They know what would antagonize you, but still they do it. And they don't just do it once, but then they try to gaslight you that even if they've done it, it doesn't matter to you because it's something little. And then they do it again and again. Like, for example, if you've gotten married to someone they don't agree with, they would say something like, that guy, that's not a good guy for you, right? Or that's not a good woman for you. Knowing that that sets you off, knowing full well that that would set you off, they wait for you to be set off. They wait for you to maybe like descend into drugs, because you want a relief, you need a relief. You don't need to hear all the comparisons with your other siblings, that they have a perfect marriage. You don't need to hear all of that. You're quite content with your imperfect husband or wife. But then it's like once you've finished sort of like ranting and raving and you're trying to come back out of it, like you come back out of it like to get some air, they come back at you again with the same exact criticism, even though you've told them before previously that you don't like, you don't need to tell me that I'm fine with this person. It's like they won't let go of the fact that she's the family member. So they won't say you're not a family member, but at the same time, they will not also accept her decision as their family member, that this is the husband I've chosen, right? Or, vice versa, this is the woman I've chosen. So poking the bear, poke, poke, poke until she reacts through drugs and everything, because to some extent, she also does not really have the courage to attack them. Yeah. Partly because she sees that the parents are with them. So it's like, why attack what the parents are standing behind? They have the support and the cover of the parents. So, yeah. Next question is, when Maria's parents divorced, Alison was sent to live with her father, Alfred. Maria and their brother, Morgan, mostly live with their mom. Why was Alison sent to live with the dad, and Maria and Morgan stayed living mostly with the mom and only visited the dad from time to time? Because of abuse. I'm seeing sexual abuse. Yeah. In this whole family, it's not Maria, but Alison who's been abused the most. So you can see here, let me show you here. This person here is, this character here is Alison, the one right here. So everything I've said, it will actually not look like it in the realm of the physical, because see, she's the one standing closest to the money. This would be a parent, one of the parents, like the father. This would be like the mother. And then this would be Maria. So you see how far Maria is from money. So it would seem as if someone has a greedy spirit, it would be Alison, because she's told. But actually, what the spiritual is revealing is that no, she's not closest to the money in terms of grabbing it. If anything, the money belongs to her through her talent and her skills. It's just that these people are able to have a mental hold. Like a mental hold. A mental hold is invisible. Like when you have chains of slavery, enslavement, it's invisible. Mental chains of enslavement, it's invisible. So they, Maria, even the father, and to some extent the mother, they don't need to be that close to Alison there in order to get the work done that they want. So it may actually look like, since Alison is closest to the greed, right? Like money, in quote, the greedy spirit, she is the one who is at fault with everything. But actually, it's the reverse. Whatever you see in the physical room, like all these people are worrying about Alison, that worry is actually them fixing their eyes on her in order to suck her energy. Yeah. Yeah. So that's Alison like running away. Okay, let me continue. Maria's older brother Morgan is said to have some kind of mental disorder and could at times be very physically violent and destructive, whilst Maria, him, and their sister Alison were growing up. Okay, is that true? Definitely. I mean, the whole of them are. They all are. And it's been kind of normalized, not just with Maria's family, but a lot of families that grew up, I guess, like 80s, in the 80s, they have that spirit. It's a spirit. It's a spirit like of that generation. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like it normalizes behavior that could send a person into a convent. I mean, remember, mental health issues and things like that, it wasn't really addressed that as much as today. So things like even, physical violence was seen as normal. And there was a time when babies or children used to be given certain alcoholic things in order to calm them down and cool them down. So it was a different time. It's a different time from our own. So they don't see it as abnormal. If anything, it's like express your feelings. Yeah, through that way. That's a man. That's a man. Yeah. Okay, so next question. What is the true story of how Maria achieved her superstar fame through Allison? Through Allison. Okay. Her older sister Alison has publicly stated that, mind you, I haven't even read Maria's story, so like reading your questions, I'm just in awe of what's coming out through the cards because it's really confirming a lot of things of what they've done to Alison. Okay, so let me continue with your question. Her older sister Alison has publicly stated that the mother Patricia was part of a coven. Yes, categorically yes. When her, Maria, and Morgan were growing up. They suffered abuses because of it. Yes, they did. They did. And that rituals were done and offerings were given to make Maria become a superstar. Yes, she's not lying at all. Okay, if yes, yes. If so, what abuses were suffered and exactly what rituals were done and offerings given? Offerings to the goddess Alison or the goddess of Alison, because there's a talent that can be given to each child, like each generation, if it's requested for it. Like, so what I'm trying to say, let's say, I'm not saying this is how exactly how it went down, but something similar. When you're pregnant and you ask, let's say, like you ask the spirit, you ask God, you ask whatever angelic beings, like you're saying, if this child comes to fruition, I'm gonna offer this child to you, I'm gonna dedicate this child to you, right? Something like that. So I am seeing them having Catholic origins. I don't know if you're gonna ask a question about the Catholic background or even I didn't know about it, but that's what something I'm picking up. A bit like Kobe Bryant. So again, I've talked about like the Catholic Church and the sort of ritual, the Catholic institution and the rituals that they do. So they have a Catholic like Catholic institution inside of them. And there's a lot, a bit like Scientology, there's a lot going on underground. So because of this, they definitely knew what rituals needed to be done. And they sort of like they would give this child, uh to the goddess of whatever, right? There are different gods and goddesses. And then when the child comes to fruition, like when the child actually comes forth and there's not a miscarriage, I mean, because it seems as if Maria's mother has had miscarriages before, a miscarriage, and she thought like either it's her first child or it was twins. Something significant about that pregnancy, either twins or triplets, something really like a blow that sort of turned her head upside down because she wasn't like that before, not from what I'm seeing. She was very traditional, very traditional. But then she decided to go for it and go into the dark arts and then dedicate her future children to these gods or goddesses. And so what it means is, since those children are already dedicated, it means whatever talent they perceive, because once you go into that descent, like into the dark arts or whatever, your eyes start being opened. I mean, you start seeing things that you may not even have asked that God to do for you. Like your eyes become open to certain things in the background, your spiritual eyes, your third eye, and all of that. And you start seeing even more than you bargained for, right? So that's what she did. Her eyes became open and she was able to see that. So, since all the children were already dedicated before even coming out of the womb, now Alison, um, she saw Alison as having the biggest star, but she did not like Alison. Like, certain parents don't really take to a particular child sometimes, or the bond that they feel is not so big as you would feel with another child. Yeah, it's almost like some parents have like one child as their soulmate, and then the other children are just children. So, similar to that. she, Alison's mother, her soulmate, or at least kind of like she was closest to Maria, and so she decided to transfer Maria's energy. Sorry, yeah, Maria's energy to Alison and Alison's energy to Maria. So, I mean, the kind of rituals and offerings, yeah, definitely offerings like, like for example, she would say to Alison, let's go do a blood test, let's do a blood test. But the blood test is not what Alison would think. Like it goes to the doctors, like, okay, like hospital doctors. It goes to doctors, yes, but like, witchcraft doctors, witch doctors, right? So this is why Alison didn't really pick up what was going on until it was too late because she's very intuitive, Alison. She would have picked it up, but it's like if your mother says, okay, let's go to the doctors to get your blood, done, and then she goes like there's a setup or whatever. And like Catholic priests, they can set things up, like they can set up a scene, and then the doctor takes off your thing. Like you're never gonna think past the point you're never going to think to the point of suspicion because like alarm bells are not going to ring because a doctor is a doctor. But if only you knew that there are different dimensions and definitions of what a doctor is, right? And also the fact that your mom or your parents even can do you harm, right? Or even be jealous of you, then you would wake up to that. But she didn't because she was so naive that she just thought, okay, a doctor is a doctor. So she didn't wake up to that. And so because she didn't wake up to that, her star was not hidden. Yeah, it's the point I'm getting at. A bit like Joseph, like Joseph's story. His star was not like fun enough. His star was hidden, but he is the one who brought it out to his siblings. Like if you remember the story of Joseph in the Bible, like they didn't even ask him. He just went to his siblings and he said, I had a dream that you were bound to me, or something of that nature. Like, you were the stars and you bow to me, right? Like you bow to the sun. I mean, that is going to set alarm bells to his siblings. Even if they suspected he has a star above their own, it's not good to say because you're basically like living amongst wolves and you're inviting them. It's like you want them to come after you. So for Alison, she definitely did not pick up what her mother was up to. So like a transferring of blood, her blood for Maria's blood and vice versa. Yeah. So as part of the rituals. And of course, there's also sexual abuse because so what I'm seeing is through the father. Again, I'll reiterate, this is what I'm seeing in the card. So I don't want anyone coming to tell me you don't have a right to say that. No, I have a right to say that as long as I'm saying it comes from the cards and not me. I didn't wake up to decide that, Maria's father did this and this. It wasn't, it was not me. Okay, so yeah, sexual abuse as well, because when there's sexual abuse, it breaks down the barrier of intimacy. So it makes the person more likely to give away whatever goods they have because they feel like they're not worthy of those goods. Yeah. Next question. Is there any truth to the official story that Maria has given about how she was discovered for her singing talent? Yeah, yeah. Yes. It's true, but I mean, it was bound to happen. Like I said, the physical realm, that's just what she recounted, is just what happened in the physical state. But spiritually, it had already happened since it was certain that she was going to get Alison's talent and star. Did she know what her parents were doing? Yes and no. 80% yes, 20% no, she didn't. Um, okay, next question. Did any kind of industry ritual or rituals happen at the party that Maria met Tommy at? Did Brenda K. Starr bring Maria to that party for the specific purpose of having Maria participate in one or more industry rituals in order for Maria's singing career to be ignited? Yes to all the questions, yes. Yeah. Yeah, there were rituals, industry rituals, but I have to reiterate again, that time was not, these times are not the same as it was before. Back then, it was a lot more common for industry rituals to be seen as industry rituals and part of the norm. It's like a recording session. Yeah, like a recording session. So normal, so normal. Yeah. So like this calories, like part and parcel of the deal, of the road to becoming famous and having the money, part and parcel. So I'm saying this because perhaps like your questions later might involve more ritual questions. Is to say that in this particular reading, because I've never seen this before, but in this particular reading, I mean for other readings, in this particular reading, rituals, as it said, is not negative, not for them. It might be negative for the people watching this or for the person doing the reading, but it's not negative for them. Therefore, even Alison's spirit is not crying out for revenge. It just wants to get away from the pain. Yeah. Okay, so next question. Maria had a songwriting and music producing partner named Ben Margulies. They wrote and produced quite a few of her songs. Yeah, yeah. But when Maria signed a record deal and songwriting publishing deal with Sony Records, she parted ways with Ben. Were Maria and Ben in a romantic relationship, or were they truly only songwriting partners? Songwriting partners, yeah. Like getting to the top, on their way to the top. Were they forced to part ways, or was it a mutual decision? It was both. Maria putting pressure on him to let her go. Or like, let me put it this way. Her putting pressure, of course the intention was for him to let her go, but she was putting in the physical room, like she was putting pressure on him to sign her up and give her a way bigger deal than Sonny was offering. So I mean that's an indirect way of saying you're not up to the task, right? Let me go. Or like you're not up to the task, but we can remain friends. Kind of like that. Yeah. Yeah. So definitely we're not really dating. Like this card here really highlights that like singular on their own, both her and him on their own path, but both working together. Because thing like you can see there's a double, there's a ghost of this person sort of in the background. There's another ghost here. So it's like that's him in the background and that's her here. And they're both helping, elevating each other to get to the top through like the stairs. And once they get there, then this ghost like character leaves or separates. Definitely it becomes clearer. Yeah. Next question. Maria has said that she very quickly after signing with Sony Records got into a romantic relationship with Tommy. Did Maria willingly enter into a romantic relationship with Tommy, or did she feel pressure to? Half and half. She found him attractive, but she didn't want to like have a relationship, just sex buddies. But he didn't want that. Yeah. Okay, next question. It was reported that when Tommy got into a romantic relationship with Maria, it caused him to divorce and leave his first wife, Lisa, that he had been married to for 19 years. How did Tommy's wife, Lisa, and two kids feel about the Tommy and Maria relationship breaking up the family? It didn't break it up. They were already broken up before. Way before. Way before. Oops. Yeah. They're broken up way before Tommy and Lisa. It's just they didn't say it. They didn't say it. So it seemed as if it might have seemed as if they were still together. Yeah. Okay. Next question. Maria said that in her relationship with Tommy, he was very possessive and insecure. Okay. Maria also said that she felt forced to accept his marriage proposal. Are any of these things true? Or was Maria okay with marrying him in order to have favor for and help with her career? Again, a bit of both, but 80% it leans more on for her career than anything else. I mean, like I said, she didn't want to be in a relationship with him, not if she could help it. So it's like, okay, since you're going to force me to have all these things, I might as well use it for my career instead and ditch the love that I could have developed for you even more. Yeah. I'll keep that little love, but the rest is going to be purely business. Okay, next question. Maria said that her 5-year marriage to Tommy was suffocating because Tommy was so creepingly controlling over her. She said that his presence was dense and oppressive. Okay, and that it was like walking on eggshells. What was the marriage really like between Tommy and Maria? Yeah, oppressive, oppressive, oppressive. Yeah. But she did have the chance to walk away, and that's not putting an excuse on him because, yeah, he was oppressive. But, like, like this card shows there's fire and then there's green, and fire is oppressive, an oppressive spirit sometimes. But then the green is to pull her in, and green is synonymous to money, the color of money, right? And also the prospect of a good career, like prospect. Green is like something fresh, something new, something profitable, something you can produce, right? Something you can produce, develop even. So like a plant, something you can grow, something that will grow. So he made himself something that she could grow with financially, emotionally, and all of that. But his promises, especially the emotional promises, like I'll be your peace, I'll give you peace, no, it was drowned out by the fire. So it was both oppressive and also profitable. After Maria left Tommy and divorced him, she said he became extremely vengeful and did think like having her followed, and that he also tried to sabotage her career. Is that true? Yes, yes, categorically, yes, yes. He did try to sabotage her career. I mean, if you even look at this card here, like this card speaks to the entire relationship as well. So the fire is not merely flames, it's like spaghetti. Like, it's like woven. It's woven, right? You can see it's woven, like just like threads. Meaning he could do it. Like he could weave the fire together. He could weave things to create fire, circumstances to create fire. And that's what he did. Like the stress upon her, it was threatening enough on her career. Like this green thing, like the growth, it was threatening enough on her career. If so, okay, next question. If so, did Tommy feel like Maria had never loved him? I mean, he knew she never loved him because she really ditched that side. She was honest to him about that. She would not love him as she was supposed to because number one, he forced her on it. He forced himself sometimes on her career. And to her, because she really wanted to develop her career. So to her, him forcing himself on her career was the equivalent of him forcing himself on her body. Yeah. So she took it as the same offense. And so she vowed never to love him. And she was honest with him about that. She was really straightforward, especially in the beginning. It's only afterwards that she started not being so straightforward just to spare his feelings. Because she really saw how much her career had grown and she couldn't help but give him accolades. Yeah, for that. No matter what he tried to do, despite him trying to destroy it. So yeah, he knew what the deal was about her loving him. It has been rumored that in spite of Maria having for years talked about how terrible her relationship with Tommy was, her and Tommy over the years have secretly stayed in, yeah, like I just said, yeah, they definitely stayed in touch. And I mean, the best lovers now, if I can say, put it that way. Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, he does definitely sometimes give her advice. Yeah, definitely, definitely. So next question. Maria infamously does not get along with Jennifer Lopez. Um, okay, it's rumored that the reason is because Jennifer and Maria's ex-husband worked together to steal music. Okay, Jennifer and Maria's ex-husband worked together to steal music from Maria after Maria and Tommy separated and divorced. Is that true? Yes, definitely it's true. Yeah. And is that the only reason that Maria doesn't like Jennifer? It's not the only reason, but I guess like it's attached to that. The fact that Jennifer worked with this man and then deny it and denied it and denied it. Like she chose to deny it instead of just telling the truth. Like, what was Maria going to do? Maria couldn't break Jennifer's career, so why not just own up to it? But no, she chose to lie about it. And even worse, she chose to become friends with Maria. One thing about Maria, she likes to stay in her lane. So obviously, if someone comes into her space, she knows the person did it on purpose and willingly. So that's why she's very disgusted, even till date, with Jennifer. Even though she gets along now with Tommy, she's still disgusted with Jennifer because like Tommy has been one of the reasons why she's become so close to Tommy is because he's apologized by making it up to her, by telling her the full truth. Yeah, and that's one way to apologize to Maria. That's one of the best ways, really. Like she just wants to know the truth so that she knows how to walk about things. But Jennifer lies and gaslights, and then chooses and tries to make a friendship with her. Okay, and you asked, is it true that Jennifer slept with Tommy to get ahead in her music career? Yes, yes, yes. Not only slept with, but threatened to marry him. Yeah, to get ahead. Yeah, all for money though. Jennifer, all for money. Next question. Towards the end of Maria's marriage to Tommy, she had an affair with baseball superstar Derek Jeter. Jeter. Hope I said that right. Um, Maria said that the relationship with Derek was the catalyst that she needed to get out from under Tommy's crippling control. She said that she fell head over heels in love with Derek and that she was very heartbroken when Derek broke up with her. So right there, I'm seeing that she broke up with him, but possibly because she found him cheating. Yeah. So I guess that's why she can she like a songwriter, like a true songwriter, she tends to remix stories a lot. Like, okay, her catching him cheating, her dumping him, to her ears, like music, to her ears, it sounds like him dumping her. Because, yeah, it's like twisting realities, definitely, because, if you're aware that a person's like the breaking point is you cheating again and again and again, and then you cheat again and again and again, well, what do you expect if not for them to break up with you? So it's like him doing it is the equivalent of him recognizing that, like the equivalent of him recognizing that he wants her to break up with him, right? Or indirectly saying, I want to break up with you, so do it already for me, kind of thing. So in essence, that's why she would say like him getting rid of her. Yeah, him breaking up with her. So I hope that answers your other questions. Yeah. Also, you asked, was Derek head over heels in love with Maria too? Yes and no. He was in love with her fame. And that's not a bad thing. Like, it's been seen as a bad thing for someone to be in love with another person's fame. It is not. Not everybody has fame, number one. I mean, it's like being in love with a person's eyes. Why not? Like, what's bad about it? It's only bad if you turn around to harm the person whilst having fallen in love with their fame in the first place. So, which he did. So, in this case, definitely it would be bad. But at face value, and in the like initially, it's not bad. Like, it wasn't bad. He fell in love with her fame, and her fame, just like eyes or like eye color or eyeshadow or whatever, is what a person puts on. So, it's by choice. So, if you love what a person, obviously not eye color, but eyeshadow color. If you love what a person puts on themselves, then you're loving the person's taste. You're loving the person indirectly. So yeah, him loving her fame and that making her more attractive in his eyes. Yeah. Okay, next question. Maria dated Mexican singing superstar Luis Miguel for 3 years. Uh, it was rumored that he was emotionally unstable, abusive, and unfaithful. Is that true? Why did he and Maria broke up? She couldn't control her anger. They broke up because she couldn't control her anger. Yeah. Yeah. Because from what I'm sensing, she was more obsessed with him, Miguel, than with Derek. So her obsession bordered on narcissism. And so it's like, how dare you betray me by even talking to another female? Yeah. Even though she does have the common, or she did have the common sense that of course he would talk to another female, because like he's in the public eye as well, so there's no way he's never going to come across another female to talk to. But she was being unreasonable, I guess, partly because she got to the an age where she wanted to control any and everything in her life. So basically like taking on Tommy's characteristics, right? Because she felt it worked for him, so she wanted to try that. She wanted to use that, like that kind of controlling method for herself on Miguel. And it didn't work. It backfired. Okay, next question. About 3 years after Maria left Tommy, Maria had an infamous mental and emotional breakdown and ended up having to be hospitalized. Yeah, that's that part of her life I'm talking about. Just like she was starting to gain control over words and the ability for words to destroy, to break a person and reconstruct a person. Yeah. And I don't just mean words that hurt. I mean literally, esoterically. Words will break down a person, deconstruct the person, like the DNA, the thinking pattern, the mental and emotional balance and imbalance. Yeah, and then reconstruct them again based on certain words that you would use, essentially spell making of some sort. She was figuring that out and it messed a bit with her brain because she sort of like felt that since Tommy succeeded with her, although he didn't succeed with her, but I guess that was just her way of trying to remove the blame on her and make it seem as if she could never have gone his way and she could never have accepted his disrespect and that life of being in a cage, if he had not used some kind of esoteric methods on her. Yeah, which he did. But what I'm saying, he did it on other people, like on producers, male producers especially, not her, not her. So I guess that's again her trying to like appropriate other people's experiences and trauma for herself, for her own story. He didn't use it on her, but she saw him use it on other people, so she appropriated it as if he used it on her. And she never really told anyone about this, like this level of thinking, but she used it to stir up her trauma enough to try it on other people and not feel guilty about trying it. But obviously, because it didn't work on others as much as it worked on her. But again, like I just said, it didn't work on her with Tommy. He never tried it on her. So it's like whatever she was trying to do on others, it wasn't the way Tommy went about it with those producers. So she was bound to fail the way she was going about it. So it's the frustration of her not being able to be like, I guess, an alchemist, like a word alchemist, being able to control people like a cake, constructing a reality for people and then destroying it or rearranging the tables in the person's mind, in the person's brain. And then in order to control their behavior, how sweet their behavior would be towards her. So you might notice, of course, like Maria, she loves sweet things. Like, her music video, she's got all sorts of like sweet cherries and stuff like that. Like this card really highlights her mind at the time of her mental breakdown. It's like she wants to be loved and worshipped so much, so badly, that she's willing to reconstruct her entire existence, her past, the existence of her past with Tommy, that he treated her as if she was a baby and she felt like a baby in a cage. Because, see, this cake, right, as sweet as it looks, it's a cage. It has these bars that a cage has, a prison has, and then it's almost as if someone could be, but it's big enough for someone to be inside the cake, right? And that's how she saw herself. That's how she sees herself even till today. And that's what she wanted to do to people. She wanted to be this fork up here. So the non-looking cake, the fork, right? Like the material of a fork is like steel. So having a steel rod and then being able to control the cake and those under it or inside it. But it failing is what sort of like made her to not be able to bounce out of that childish mindset, the baby mindset that she put herself into. So imagine a baby's mindset being in the midst of adults in the entertainment industry. It's like the schism is too much, it's too wide for her to remain stable. So something would have to give. Either those people would have to break down to her game, or she's the one to break down. And those people never broke down. I mean, why? She wasn't doing it properly. So she's the one who broke down. Okay, next question. The rapper Eminem has said over the years that he and Maria were in a romantic relationship at one time. Oops. Yeah, they were. They were. He even wanted to marry her. Like, as soon as I read the question, it's like he's still mad that she's not in his arms. Yeah. Okay, so you said Maria has always denied that they were ever in a romantic relationship. What is the truth? She's a liar when it comes to this. Like, she's a liar. He's in love with her even now, even till date. Eminem. Yeah. I mean, this is surprising. Eminem is like one of my favorite rappers, so I'm wondering how, like, I think I'll do a reading on Eminem and Maria. Yeah, I'll do a reading on Eminem later, though, at some point, or if you have questions about them both, let me know. Because I feel like they're soulmates. I'm just picking up, like, he is in love with her. He's head over heels in love with her. And I am surprised. Because I've never seen it before, like, looking at him. But I guess that's that part, like, soulmates don't have to be obviously soulmates at first value, because some hide it a lot. Like, some don't want others to see it, the bond. And he didn't. He didn't until now that I'm reading into her. Like, he didn't. He wanted to protect her. I mean, I don't know if you can see this. Like, these two here. So this is them in the entertainment industry, right? And money and wealth. In fact, the wealth he wanted to produce for her. Then this is them, both of them. This is him here. This is her next to him. This is his image of them. And in this line, it's like an army, like a gate, protecting, shielding them. And that's what he had all along. Shielding them, and therefore protecting them, or his vision of things. So which is why I wasn't able to see it, like when thinking of him, for example, or even listening to his music. Whereas for some people, a lot of times I can. So he was hiding it up until now. So this cowrie here is a bit up, this one right here. So kind of indicating that now that I'm lifting the lid on the real Maria, he wants it to come out. So, like, yeah, now I can see it. Now I can see it. So that's him, that's her. In his mind, they're already married because, like, they made the commitment. But when she was making the commitment, she wasn't really serious. Like, she was just off her head. Yeah. But just because she has those thoughts, like those flighty feelings, it doesn't mean it's not true that they're soulmates. Like, it just depends on the dynamic. There are different soulmate dynamics. Yeah. So, like, here, this is him leading the charge to give information, to spread information about him and her. So I wouldn't even be surprised if there are articles from henceforth talking about Eminem and Maria. He's not going to shut up now at all. Yeah. He really, like, I want to speak. Yeah. Feel free to ask me any questions about Maria and Eminem, and I'll do a reading on it. Okay, next question. Maria has claimed that in her personal life, she is a prude sexually. Yes, she is. That's one of the reasons she felt she couldn't gel with Eminem. Okay, she's a prude sexually and has only sexually been with 5 or less people in her life. Is that really true? It's not true, but again, that's Maria remixing stories. Like, 5 or more people, sorry, 5 or less people that she really, really wanted to. If it's people that she really wanted, like one really, she wouldn't count it. If it's people that she never even thought about and it just sort of fell in her lap, like as a one night stand, and she never really projected herself beforehand with them, then forget it. She never even saw them. She never even met them. Yeah. Yeah, she'll be like, who is she? Like, who is he? Who are they? You know, like that famous phrase. She's very much like that. She just blanks it out of the mind. Okay, next question. There have been rumors that Maria has had some same-sex sexual dalliances with one of her close friends, the rapper, the Brad. Yeah, yeah, totally true. But again, she doesn't count it. She doesn't count it. Maria, I mean. Okay, next question. Has Maria participated in the heterosexual and homosexual rituals that many celebrities participate in? Yeah, that's a given. It's a given. Okay, if so, which celebrities did she participate in such activities with? I think the question is which celebrities did she not? Because um there's no end to how many she did. Because they all like they do. It's culture. It's culture for them, for people in that industry. Yeah. Um. Okay. Maria's next question. Maria's career suffered a slump in 2001. And then her career got a huge resurgence when she came out with her album, The Emancipation of Mimi, in 2005. Were there offerings and rituals done in order for Maria to regain that level of success? Definitely. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, actually, once I'm done with this reading or at some point in the future, I might look into that year and Alison. What happened? Something would have happened to Alison around that period of time for the resurgence to happen. Yeah. But I have to admit, it would be difficult to tell online because it could be that, let's say, she slept with Alison, or not her, but someone else did, right? Like in the dream. So, sometimes you can have sexual dreams, like succubus, right? Being in your dreams. And not every sexual dream is a succubus, but I'm just saying. So, Alison would have had like something like this, for example, go through her. And that sort of like lighting up her fire and then restarting it and then sort of like breathing it, breathing that fire they've gathered in Alison, breathing it on Maria, like Maria's dead career. So like the desert, no water. Like, one would think it's the desert. So why not have water, right? For the lion or whatever. But no, for this lion to keep being awake and aware, the fire is needed in the desert. So like the desert being the dead carrier, but then the fire, but because that's the fire that they breathed from Alison, they sucked it in, poured it out on Maria. Yeah. Next question. You mentioned in the reading that you did on Maria 3 years ago on your YouTube channel that the reason for the breakdown in the marriage between Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon was that when she gets tired of a person, you can love someone and still be tired of depending on. You can love someone and still be tired depending on if you are not used to that kind of love. Yes. And if you're not used to that kind of love, but you still want to keep it, it will still be difficult because if you don't have a solid circle of mature people, people who are mature, yeah, when it comes to sustaining relationships, yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you said in the album Me Maria, I Am Maria. Sorry, I'm a bit skipping like my eyesight when I read these things. The Elise chanteuse that she came out with after her and Nick's separation, the lyrics to Maria's song on that album made it seem like Nick was the one who got tired of her, left her alone a lot, wouldn't take any of her concerns that she voiced to him about a person. Yeah, well, I mean, literally, your question is what I've just been saying in the reading all along. She flips things on their head. She remixes things like what another person has experienced and feels. She takes it for herself. So and then vice versa. So what you just said about like that I did on the reading, her getting tired of a person and all of that, definitely. But now she's making as if it was Nick who was tired of her. It's not the case. She was tired of him, and vice versa. Like he would have been tired of her to some extent, but not in the sense of what we're talking about, right? So she remixes things a lot. She likes to displace feelings, like replace feelings with another one. Yeah. Okay, next question. Oh, okay. So you asked, is Maria one of those types of people who likes to blame, shift, and deflect? Yes, yes, yes. That's Maria in a nutshell. That's her. That's her in a nutshell. Blame, shift, and deflect. Blame, shift, and deflect. Not surprising because her parents have been doing that all her life. So she's just learning from the best. Next question. Some people claimed and suspected that Nick used Maria as a way to elevate his fame and fortune. Is there any truth to that? I mean, there is, in the same sense that she used Alison and she's been using Alison. So it's not really like when you bring both energies together, it's a nil-nil situation. Like neither are doing the other person wrong because he is doing to her what she did to Alison, or she is doing to Alison what he would later do to her, or someone else would later do to her as well. Next question. Have Nick and or Maria made any attempts to rekindle the romance? They don't need to. It never died. It never died. Again, Maria is the type of person, even when she pulls back, she doesn't go away totally. Again, like a butterfly. Like she just flies and then returns. Um Okay, next question. You mentioned in the previous reading that you did on Maria that Nick would like to get back with Maria romantically, but he's not sure if she would take him back. I mean, exactly. Again, this corroborates what I've been saying, and the question you asked. How come he is the one wondering if she would take him back? If he is the one who got tired of her, like she's been sort of peddling. He's not her. It's not him who got tired of her. She got tired of him. So he's the one who keeps remembering what they had going on and if she would take him back. I mean, with or without the children that he's now had. So would she be willing to? Would she be open to taking him back? I have to say yes and no. She'd be willing to take him back only temporarily. It would never be the same, and it would never be for a long time, maximum a year or two, and then she would dump him, but he would stay close to her. And then he would think that there's a chance again for them to be together, like in a marriage, and then she might accept. It's like a butterfly. When it takes her fancy, she accepts, gets married maybe, or some kind of recommitment, and then she dumps the person again. She dumps him. So next question. Does Nick really believe in the philosophies that he has been saying for the last few years about him not believing in monogamy anymore? No, no, that's just to hurt Maria, and it doesn't work. uh Okay, next question. How do the multiple women who have had children with Nick feel about him not being committed to any of them? Uh, is money the reason? Yeah, no, he's committed to them. He's committed. He's committed. He is as committed as he told them in the beginning. So take that for what it's worth, in that he never lied to them. He's always upfront. I mean, this is them, like the baby man, like just circling this coin. This is them in a circle. They even talk with each other. So how come, like, the fact that there are not more scandals about him and the baby mamas, it really shows that, I mean, it's really the public that gets outraged, not them. And the fact that more keep coming, like, it shows that there's an understanding. They realize that he tells them the same story. So it's never a case of he told me this, he's told her that, he's told her that. No, he's there. I'll always watch you, which he does. I'm gonna call you up when I can. I've got a business meeting. I'm gonna give you a call back, and he does. Like, he's very present when he says that he will be. Any other lack of presence is their own expectations, which they should have. I mean, okay, I'm not blaming them, but what I'm trying to say logically, anything that they expect him to do that he did not tell them or warn them about, that is them now trying to renegotiate the rules of the contract after the deed is done and they've both signed on a piece of paper. Yeah, so like, why would you expect him to attend your PTA meeting, like your parents' meeting, teacher meeting at school for your son, when you know that he's got work, a work show, and work always comes first because precisely he wants to always be there to provide for his children, right? It's like only now, after you've learned that money isn't everything, are you trying to draw him from his money? Money that you know will go to taking care of this child of yours, plus other children. So, like, he hates being rewritten. Yeah, he hates that. He hates that. So, he always lays down the rules, first of all. So, I don't see it that he's not committed. I don't see it at all. In fact, every time he works, it's his show of commitment to them, and he tells them that. Is money the reason that they have agreed to enter into such relationships? Yeah, yeah. I mean, money. Money is at the core of it, right there, the core of these women. Okay, next question. Some people have suspected that Nick has been having so many kids by so many different women because he wants organs that can help him uh with the health issues he deals with as a result of the lupus autoimmune disease that he says he has. No, no, no. Otherwise, he would just go to hospitals and be on a waiting list. No, I don't see that. Those rumors, those kinds of rumors are just started by his baby mamas. Yeah. Okay, next question. People also suspect that he has his son Zen, who was said to have died from a rare form of brain cancer at 5 months old, was a sacrifice for Nick's health. Is there any truth to it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sacrifice, but not by Nick, by Maria. By Maria. And not for health. Or let me say, yeah, if someone were to read into it, it could say because of health, but what kind of health? Not physical body health, health of a relationship, either a relationship or a career. Yeah, health. Health can apply to any paradigm. So the paradigm of relationship, to draw her closer to him, Maria closer to him. Because, let's face it, she's always the one that people see as being Nick's home. Because they're once married, it's like they've had kids, and it's as if those kids are like his first born children in that respect of like him never having thought about having kids before, and almost as if he was going to stop at those two kids or at the kids that they had. Like whatever number. But with Maria, it's like she's the pit stop. So anything that happens outside, in quote, like outside there, because the baby mamas are baby mamas, right? And the children. So it's like anything that happens outside there, people would not see him as running to any of the other baby mamas as much as he would run to Maria for safety and comfort. So it was to draw him closer to her. Yeah, so to strengthen the relationship. Next question. You mentioned in the previous reading that you did on Maria, uh, that she punishes herself. Okay, let me stop here and then I'll start with another video.